Never on the sidelines, I only hustle. Never take a day off, I only work. I don't mess around, kid, I only Lordy never sleeps, get you. All I do is work.
What's up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, the MFCEO, and you're listening to my podcast, the MFCEO Project. If you don't know who we are, fucking Google it. All right. Me and Vaughn have been sitting here for the last 10 minutes trying to work out a intro for the podcast, and I keep fucking it up.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
So hello.
You're not a strong reader.
No, I'm not. I read on a second grade level, but I speak on a third grade level.
That's true.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
So this is the new podcast. I'm here with my two badass co-hosts, Mr. Ben Newman, a professional speaker, best-selling author, and performance coach who works with elite athletes and executives all over the world. What's up, Ben?
What's going on?
And Mr. Vaughn Kohler, a former pastor and college instructor who's now a professional writer and communication consultant. What's up?
I'm trying to think of a witty response.
There's no witty response.
Say hello, Vaughn.
What's up?
The intro that you wrote was too hard for me to read, so that was the intro that we did.
That sounds good.
And that's what we're going to run with.
Yeah, I like it. I like
So,
the Google.
fucking Google it.
Or here's an idea.
Listen to the other podcasts.
Listen to the other podcast.
Where we talk
yeah,
about it.
Yeah. So, hey, so we've had these emails asking to know a little bit more about Ben. I don't know if people want to date him or what, but they want to know a little bit more
They
about
saw his Periscope of him mixing his protein, and they think that he might need a date. But the truth is, Ben is happily married.
Yes, he
with
is.
a family.
He is.
So regardless of his awesome protein mixing skills,
Yes.
which we just displayed on my Periscope.
You can go back at Andy's replay. That's at Andy Frisella on
Yeah.
Periscope.
Yeah.
And see the replay. It was very impressive.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Lots of sick days. Do you perfect that technique, huh? In like 7th grade?
Yeah. So I am going to put Ben on the spot, though, because, hearing things like professional public speaker and author, I mean, that's pretty broad. So, Ben, how would you summarize succinctly and wittily what you do?
So I would say, my whole life I've faced challenge and adversity, been in sales a long time, been kicked in the teeth, but have been blessed to be surrounded by people who have been there to pick me up. As a result of always having great people around me, mentors and coaches, I've had a significant career in sales all the way from when I started brokering paper out of Michigan State University, then spent about 11 years Northwestern Mutual Insurance Investments, building a significant practice there that I was able to start transitioning and to sell a few years ago to where now I do 100% of my time is spent doing coaching, speaking. Speaking started for me in 2006. Got paid $500 to speak for the first time. I was a 25-year-old kid, thought that was pretty amazing. And, now there's the ups and downs and challenges in business, even with what I do today. And I think sometimes, and this is what I love so much about the opportunity to be with all of you, is that no matter what professional athlete I get to work with, no matter what training camp I get to go to, no matter what UFC or boxing match or what boardroom I'm in with a Fortune 500 company, I'm still getting knocked down, I'm still challenged, I'm still facing adversity, and I still need mentors and coaches and friends like Andy in my life to push me, to motivate me, to get me to that next level. So that's what I love about the opportunity to be with all of you, is to share the realness of what it takes to be successful, but to also let you guys know that I'm still growing and trying to get better every single day of my life as well.
That's
I
awesome.
think that's like the I think that's the ultimate thing that most people don't realize is they look at people who are out there, quote unquote, being successful and assume that they're not struggling with the same issues or haven't struggled with the same issues.
I said it on one of the previous episodes, the more success you have, the larger the struggles become. I remember a period of time in 2010 where I was giving paychecks back to the company that I represented that was more money than I made in my first year out of college. And I was giving that back over a 2-month period of time in commissions. Because in the insurance business, sometimes they front load your commissions, and if things don't work out, you got to give them back. So here I'm giving money back actually it was back-to-back paychecks, and if you throw in the third one, it's about the same amount of money I made my whole first year out of college, and I did pretty well my first year out of college. So you get knocked down, but if you want to play the game at a bigger level, you will fall harder, and that's the importance of having mentors, having coaches. And that's why I love this podcast, because so many people say, I don't have the money to hire you to coach me. I don't have the money to hire Andy to come into my boardroom and be a consultant for us. But the reality is you're getting it right now if you choose to accept it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, guys, I was thinking I wanted to start something new on the podcast. Just to switch gears a little bit. We're going to start question of the day.
Question of the day.
Question of the day. So today's question of the day is, how fucking cool is Periscope? Dude, is that not the coolest fucking app that you've ever used ever?
It's absolutely incredible. To get on there and the engagement and say, hey, where's everybody from? You know, I did one this morning. I was finishing up a workout. It was probably 5 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, you have people in Argentina and Sweden and Australia. And it's like, I mean, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. And these people are all over the world. And you're connected with them, like in their face, with an opportunity to inspire them, to mentor them. It's incredible.
Yeah. I've logged in a couple times on Ben's, like, 5 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning broadcast. And it's cool. I mean, it's cooler for me because I know you.
You caught me on cheat day eating donuts. That was your favorite one.
I did. Well, dude, the one that you went to, what was it, Busch Stadium? I saw that one. That was really good.
The one thing that really like made me take a step back and say, whoa, like this is something that's going to change the way people communicate was somebody asked me during one of my live Periscopes, and if you don't know what Periscope is, you need to check it out. What it is basically, it's unlike any other social media platform out there. It's a live broadcast app. So you click the Periscope on and it shows what's going on in live real time, and you're able to communicate with people in live real time.
It's like being your own television.
It's like you being able to type messages on your TV and the people on the TV respond.
Right.
It's pretty fucking cool. But
am I right in saying that wasn't it developed by Twitter and you can sign in if you already have a Twitter account?
I don't know if they developed it, but I know they're affiliated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know? They bought him? Okay, so
Yeah.
Twitter bought him.
Yeah.
My good buddy Ephraim's here, just kind of sitting in on the podcast, and he's a student of technology. Mm-hmm. That's a nice way of saying technology nerd.
Yeah.
But basically, it's really cool, man. You can interact with people. You know, you click on it, notifies you. You can join the room, and you can ask questions. You can talk about things of interest. You know, you can add value. There's just a lot of shit that you can do. And what I think is cool about it is that, you know, you can't fake it. Like, there's so much fake shit on Instagram and on Facebook and Twitter. Like, people could choose to portray themselves any way they want. Instagram's really bad about it. But with Periscope, you know, it is what it is. You can't fake your knowledge. You can't fake your ability to convey lessons or to be entertaining or whatever it is that people are there to see you for. It's a real authentic platform. And I think it's going to really become huge because of that. You know, It's something that people are ready for. If you think about what people watch on TV, you know, even though these things are now edited, but they're not watching Dukes of Hazzard. Well, they're literally not watching that anymore. But they're not watching A-Team or Dukes of Hazzard or the shit that we grew up on.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they're watching reality TV, you know, and that's kind of what this is. And even though reality TV is super edited now, this kind of brings it back to that. It's really, really, really cool. And it's what really made me step back and say, whoa, this is something that is going to be huge, is when I saw somebody ask me a question about how do you find mentors or how do you find people to help? And I thought about, like, when I started in business in 1999, you know, the internet was not, it was barely breathing at that time. You know, we had email and we had things like that, but nobody really used it. It was more for just like, you know, looking at porn, for lack of a better term. I mean, it was just basic shit. And so I thought about, like, where technology's come from since I started. You know, these tools that you guys have that are listening at your disposal now, it's unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable the shit that's going on in social media, in technology, your ability to connect with people who have done the things you want to do, and your ability to, like, really see and understand what people are going through. For example, you know, I used to read a lot of Tony Robbins stuff, and I mean, you know, I don't think he's not up on social media as much as, you know, a lot of the newer guys are, but, you know, wouldn't it have been cool to, like, get him on Periscope and be able to ask him a question, or somebody who was, you know, running a business like yours, like, that was big at that time, and just type in a question and have him answer? I mean, that's fucking awesome.
I love the fact that like you had mentioned earlier, you alluded to it, it's raw.
Yeah.
You know, there's no people, they see people speak on TV and there's a teleprompter and they're told exactly what they need to say and when to pause. This is as real as it gets.
Right.
There is no making mistakes. Nobody's holding cue cards.
No.
I mean, if you've got a message, you get on there and you share your message.
Right.
And I think it's an unbelievable, real platform where people get to know somebody for who they really are.
Dude, I've been thinking it through. I think it's going to change. I think that app is going to be the biggest social media app that ever existed. I think it's going to be utilized by less than 2% of the people in terms of broadcasting, but the audiences are going to be gigantic. And I think it's going to push society in the way we communicate in a different direction. I think people are tired of getting that polished, overproduced message from everybody, and the politically correct shit, I think, has gone out the window. I think people are tired of it. And I think it's going to allow people to see the authentic people out there. And I think those people are going to rise to the top in terms of popularity. I think it's going to create, you're going to see people on Periscope being sponsored by Budweiser, and you think about how it's going to change business. People are going to be accepting independent contracts to represent companies that have a good following on Periscope. It's going to create a whole new way to advertise. It's going to create so much stuff and change the way so many things are done. Dude, I think it's going to eliminate, TV as we know it completely.
Certainly, yeah, it'll change.
Since I've got on Periscope, instead of reading the last couple weeks, I've been watching other dudes' Periscopes that are successful. Mm-hmm. What's the guy's name you told me to watch? From T-Mobile's guy.
John Lazier.
John Lazier from T-Mobile CEO. Dude, I've been watching his shit. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. This dude's the CEO of a gigantic company, big business, and he's a regular dude, man. He periscopes himself running through the park and doing cardio and doing all the shit that everybody else does. And for me, that's cool to see. Right. Just like it's probably cool for people to watch somebody at my level do the regular shit that they do.
Right.
And they think, oh man, he's just a regular dude.
Well, speaking of Raw and Uncensored, my first Periscope is going to happen in a couple weeks, and it's going to be Andy Frisella, the unauthorized biography. It's going to be behind the scenes because everybody's always asking me, what's it like to work with Andy? And what I really tell them is, remember that show, The Joy of Art on PBS with Bob Ross? The guy with the afro who's let's paint those. I said, that's the way Andy is in real life. He's just this gentle, quiet soul without the afro.
Yeah. Well, I know.
He never curses when the microphone's turned off. That's what blows me away.
You know what blows me away? Here's what blows me away.
By the way, at some point we should probably get to the topic.
No, we will get on the topic after I make this point.
Okay.
Here's what blows me away. My fucking social media space is mine. Yours is yours, and yours is yours.
Right.
And I'm pointing at these guys.
Yeah.
What I post on my page is my fucking decision to post it. What I say on Periscope is my decision to post it. If you don't fucking like it, don't watch it. Don't comment. Don't say anything. Where do these people get off on coming on somebody else's page and saying, for me,
I've seen it with you multiple times.
No,
on your
dude,
Periscope.
why are you saying the F word? Because I fucking like it. Do you not know anything about what I mean, why are you even on here? Did you see that one last night where that lady was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're using the F word so much. I'm like, well, if you don't fucking like it, get the fuck out.
Did you actually respond to her?
Yes, that's exactly what I said. And then she writes, oh, well, you're so rude. And then she writes, well, then I'm leaving. And then she writes, bye. And then 5 minutes later, she's like, I can't believe you said the F word. I thought you're fucking leaving. But dude, why do people feel the need to put their opinion on this shit? Why? Dude, when I see shit I don't like, I just move on.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you do, or do you comment?
No, I move on. It's always been fascinating to me. I remember there was somebody had shared something with me. It was about some controversial radio show, and there was somebody who was would listen to the show in order to write down criticism, 4 hours at a time, to write down criticism of the show, and then to criticize the people who had chosen to advertise on the guy. I thought, you have that much time.
Right.
You got 4 hours to sit there and do research on this person's show. Go do something else. And then those are the same individuals who are going to say, like we talked about on our last, on the last podcast, not the question and answer, but on the Kill It every day. People are saying, I don't have time to be successful. I don't have time to do it. You're wasting your time doing things that are not productive at all. And you're choosing to be negative. And when people choose to be positive, positive stuff's going to happen. The moment Andy doesn't like something, he turns it off, and guess what? He's going to go do something positive.
It's automatic.
He's going to
Right.
It's automatic.
Like in
Right.
the fact, like, it just blows my mind that people take the time to, like, I mean, I just can't imagine myself going on somebody's shit that I didn't agree with and, like, writing some dissertation about why I don't agree with it. Like, you know, I just couldn't.
So speaking of criticism of our show, you know the show that we did with Teresa with the
Yeah.
Well, my wife gave me the feedback. She said I something bothered me about that. I said, what? Is language? She's like, no, I don't care about that. She's like, you were not clear on that show that Polish people are intelligent and that you think I'm intelligent. So I'd like to formally say, because we were kind of knocking on Polish people because
Polish people are intelligent?
because my wife is Polish. So I'd like to formally say that my wife is a doctor and very intelligent, so I can get out of the doghouse.
You know, there's all different kinds of intelligence, Vaughn.
This is like that's like 6 episodes ago, so I think you've been in the doghouse for quite a while now.
But,
I'm glad you clarified that for everybody.
So this is a great
Vaughn's
conversation.
been sleeping on the couch for like 6 weeks.
No.
I thought you looked a little hunched over when you
Yeah.
came in here. All right, so here's the deal.
Probably
We do
edit
have
this
an
out.
actual topic.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us what we're going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about customer service,
All right.
and I'm going to just say one thing in preparation for that is that when you and I first talked about this, I said, well, isn't there a lot of overlap between customer service and sales? And your statement was, well, you know that because they are two sides of the same coin, but there's also a lot of separate materials. So,
Right.
But you would agree that that the best way to think of customer service and sales is as overlapping topics of things that touch on each other in major ways.
Yeah, but you have to understand why that is. Because most of your sales, and it's much cheaper to keep a customer, a repeat customer, a residual customer, through good customer service than it is to go out and acquire new customers.
Right.
So most new business owners are always, and actually most business owners, period, are always focused on acquisition, and they spend 90% of their money, 90% of their efforts talking about acquisition, when in reality, it should be the other way around. It should be you spending, 75% on retention, 25% on acquisition.
Yeah. So on that note, because I want to back up, because I did our listenership a little bit of a disservice because I jumped right sort of mid-topic. So let's just start. I want to lay the groundwork. Let's just start with basic principles. What are your basic principles that you use? And Ben, of course, as an insurance agent, I'm sure all of these things.
Nobody ever wanted to talk to insurance agents, but I appreciate it.
But yeah, let's start with that. Basic principles.
All right, so basic principle of customer service, we got to, it's before you even talk to the customer, okay? It's a mentality that you have to hold about your customers. And if you have employees, it's a mentality that you have to embody and pound into your employee's head. And that's the lifetime value of a customer, okay? We always hear about this in business school. They call this LTV, they have all kinds of different acronyms for lifetime value. But here's the thing. Your customer is worth so much more than today's sale. And you have to make your employees, and you have to realize that. Most companies will focus on today. They will be in a hurry to make a sale today because they want to pay the bills today. And as long as cash gets in the bank today, they'll worry about tomorrow when they cross it. And it's a very short-sighted mentality that most businesses, frankly, have. And the great businesses that are working and growing and progressing and flourishing in this social media-driven world all focus on retention and service. If you look at a company like Zappos, if you read the book Delivering Happiness by Tony Hsieh, awesome book on culture, awesome book on customer service. Jeffrey Gitomer has a great book on customer service called Customer Satisfaction is Worthless, Customer Loyalty is Priceless. You'll hear me talk about that book all the time. If you're not focused on retention, you're missing the point. And retention starts with customer service, okay? So it's a mentality that you have to accept from the beginning. Before you even attempt to go service a customer, you have to understand what the why is behind that. Why is it important to service your customers properly? Because not only is it important for you to retain them, but it's important for them. It's important for you, and the way we explain it here is to own the conversation. And what that means is, like for us, we sell nutritional supplements. when people talk about weight loss, they talk about lifting weights, talk about getting in shape. I want that customer to automatically go to first form every single time that conversation comes up. So that's what I mean when I say own the conversation. So my job is to get our employees to understand the concept of the lifetime value and to understand why it's important to overwhelm that customer with service to the point where anytime that conversation comes up, they rave and rant about how awesome it is to deal with first form. Okay? And that is the ultimate marketing that you could ever have. It's the ultimate way to make sales you could ever have. And it's really the easiest way and the least expensive way to make sales that you could ever have.
Let me jump in here because what Andy is sharing, right? Because it's, you hear Andy say this is what we teach our people, but do the people hear the message? And, being a longtime customer of Supplement Superstores, which is the local stores here in St. Louis, it's always been...
It's one of the other companies we own besides First Form.
It's one of the unbelievable things I've seen with customer service. My guy's John Nodder at the location that I go to. And it used to be I would see Sal, Andy's brother, when I'd go in. But I go in, and John, this is not just the first time, right? It's not, hey, the first time I see a new face, we're going to treat this guy really special. It's every time. I walk in, John says, can I get you a bottle of water? If I want to try the Formula One Fruit Loop flavor, he goes, hey, I got some in the back. Would you like to try it? Hey, I want to try, some of this. Hey, I've got some in the back. Would you like to try it? Hey, this flavor of Megawatt. Would you like to try it? Every time I'm in there, it's the same. And then I get handwritten thank you notes. And it's not one. I've had multiple handwritten thank you notes. People don't even know that mail exists anymore. It's every time I'm in there. And I know there are days that I go in there and John's probably gotten kicked in the teeth. He had somebody who came in that wasn't a lot of fun, to deal with. But the reality is he always turns it on and that guy delivers. I watch him deliver to the client in front of me and to the people behind me. The guy's incredible, but it's every time. It's not just one time trying to earn the business. He wants the business every time. And to your point, why would I go anywhere else? Why would I go anywhere? And I've been shopping at Supplement Superstores before I've known Andy. So why would I go anywhere else?
Well, and that's the point. So that you just made the point of what I'm trying to get across here is that if you do a good enough job, you're going to create loyalty to the company, okay, to your company, not just my company, whatever it is that you do. And it could be anything. It could be tires. It could be, cupcakes. It could be beer. It could be anything. But the customer service experience, when it's over the top, you're going to guarantee loyalty from the customer as long as you're solving the problem that they have. Because this is an issue that you need to understand. There's a big difference between being nice and making a friend with a customer and being nice and making a friend with a customer and solving their problem. Okay? Because if somebody comes to you and it's real easy to be nice, shake their hand, write them a thank you card, treat them good, and all that shit. But the reality is if you're not solving the problem for what they're there for, you're going to miss that part of the retention equation.
It's interesting that you should bring that up because, Ben, you were talking about your experience. My experience, I went to the Chesterfield Airport Road S2, and a guy named Mark helped out, and he was incredibly friendly, and he didn't know who I was. But to your point, Andy, it wasn't just friendliness. He knew his stuff. Like he knew exactly what I needed to know when I went in and I presented my problem. So,
well, there's an equation for loyalty, okay? It's education, trust, loyalty, all right? Teach people about the product, whatever it is they're interested in. Show them the features and the benefits, okay? Explain to them why this is the best product to solve their problem. And I'm talking about any product or service, okay? Insert service there too. Educate. Teach them. Don't hold back information because you think it's going to give away some sort of secret. Fucking teach them, all right? Because when you teach somebody something, you're giving them something of value, which creates trust. All right? That creates a situation where you tell that person something, that person goes out in the real world, finds out that information to be true on their own, okay? Then they've gained trust. And that's the education trust aspect might go back and forth a few different times. You might go talk to the same car guy, the car salesman, 2 or 3 times over buying 3 different cars. And after a while, you learn that guy knows what he's talking about. And instead of having to go back and verify the education, education, trust, back to education, learn something new, trust a little more, back to education, learn something new, trust a little more, you're going to automatically know that person and you're going to trust that person 100%, and that's whenever loyalty clicks over to loyalty. Okay, now it's not. Now it's like what you just said, Ben. Why would I go anywhere else? I know that this dude knows what he's doing. He's going to take care of me. He's going to solve my problem. And then you've got a customer that not only shops at your store, but basically what you just said about that experience, you're going to tell that to anytime the conversation comes up about getting in shape, you're going to say some version of that story. And that becomes the ultimate marketing, especially in the social media world, where we can share our opinions about exceptional products and service or terrible products and service instantly across the globe.
Okay, Andy, I'm going to interrupt you because this is such good stuff that I'm going to take a second to recap. Okay, so the basic principles you said were, number one, it's always easier to retain than to get new customers. Number two, you talked about creating this amazing experience. And a few minutes from now, we'll talk about the details of creating an amazing experience. We've already touched on that a little bit. But then you talked about this cycle of education, trust, and loyalty. And so is that a good summary so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I put something in here? Because I think people are going to say, well, Ben and Andy are friends, and of course he's going to. Remember what I told you about John Notter?
Yeah.
Frisella? Yeah. I didn't tell him that I knew Andy for the first 2 or 3 times that I went in there, and he ended up seeing an Instagram post of the two of us. He's like, "Why didn't you tell me that I knew?" And I said, I just didn't think I had to.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so
look, man,
I'm getting that customer service because they do that for everybody.
Yeah. But regardless if people believe it or not, it doesn't really fucking matter. Because here's the reality: you either believe, if you don't believe and trust, because of us by now over what we've been educating you, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
All right. So if people don't believe that, I don't fucking care. But I can tell you right now, our retail stores do the highest per square foot in sales of any retail model besides the Apple Store in the whole United States. Out of fucking vitamins, based off of service. Okay? If you are going to discount this information that we're talking about, there's something wrong with your fucking brain.
So a lot of people in the listening audience are probably very concrete people. So could you give us an example of how you would do the education, trust, loyalty? Like, pick a product. Like, literally just flesh it out.
Tires.
For us. Okay.
Let's pick something boring. Nobody likes fucking tires. Nobody's passionate about tires. All right? Let's talk about tires. You go to the tire shop. All right? You go into Auto Tire. That's what we have here in Missouri. We have Dobbs, okay? Dobbs is a local company. You go to the tire store. You go in. You walk in the door. It smells like rubber. Everybody knows that smell. You walk up to the counter. Some dude's covered in like fucking grease. And he's like, "Can I help you?" And you're like, "Yeah, man, I need some tires." And the guy's like, "All right." And like grunts at you, right? That's one experience. I've had that experience multiple times when I need to get fucking tires. "It'll be 45 minutes. Ugh." And he says some shit like that you can't understand. All right? That's experience number one. You wait in the waiting room for 45 minutes. You watch like Jerry Springer on the fucking 7-inch television that they have in there. You read you guys are laughing because you've all fucking done it.
It's true.
Yeah. And you read the shitty magazines that are stuck together, from some fucking slobbering kid, that their parents let them drool all over the fucking magazine. And you get your tires 45 minutes later and you leave. Was there any education? No. Was there any trust created? No. Was there any loyalty created? No. In fact, if somebody asked you about that place, you'd say, "Yeah, I got my tires there." And the one thing that you would mention, if you mentioned anything, would be possibly the price of the tires, because that's probably why you went there. So you're going to say, "Yeah, I went to Auto Tire and I got my tires. They were $200 a piece. I thought that was a pretty good deal, and they did a decent job." All right, that's scenario number one. Now let's talk about scenario number two. You go into the competitive tire store.
We'll call it S2 tires.
We'll call it tires to go. All right.
Okay.
So you go into tires to go, and you walk in, and there's a guy in there, and he's nice and clean and friendly, and you walk in, and he's like, "Hey man, how you doing? How's your day going?" "Oh, well, it's going good." "Well, what brings you in?" Well, I need a tire for my truck. I think I ran over a screw." And he's like, "You did?" He's like, "Let me look at it for you. Let's go outside. Let's take a look." Walk outside with the guy, nice and clean. We walk outside. We look at the tire. It's got a fucking screw in it. And he says, "Yeah, here's your problem, man, right here. You definitely got a screw in your tire. you know what I'm going to do? You don't need a new tire. You need just a patch. It's super cheap. Let me take this tire off here for you real quick. I'll get you right in. I'll get you right out. I'll patch it, and then I'll get you on the way. Okay, cool. Well, how much is that going to be? Oh, nothing. It's like $5 part. I got it, man. Are you serious? Yeah, man, I got it. No big deal. It's $5. No. Let me pay. No, man, I got it. Trust me. Have you ever been here before? He's like, no. This is how we do shit here. This is what we do. We make sure that you get on the road safely, and all I ask is that, if the conversation of tires comes up, just tell your friends about us. Boom. Guy leaves. What the fuck is that guy saying about your company now? And it cost you $5 fucking. Mm-hmm. That's the two scenarios. That's service. That's going the extra mile. That's taking initiative to gain a customer. That's how you create loyalty. Okay? Period. Companies don't get that shit. You could do this with anything. You can do this with, I'm holding a Juno phone charger, which, by the way, is the coolest fucking thing ever. If you guys haven't checked out Juno Power, you need to check it out.
How do you spell that?
JUNOPOWER. Vaughn will throw a link up on the site for this because this is one of my favorite products of all time. Ben, I gave you one. How much do you like it?
It's unbelievable.
So what it is a portable battery pack to charge your phone because now, especially with social
you can
media.
do multiple phones at the same time?
Oh, dude.
Multiple products?
Multiple products. It's like the size of like a wallet, right? And you carry it around and you plug your shit into it. Multiple phones. It'll charge like 6 phone charges. Dude, I can't live without this thing now. I'm starting to use it. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is like, because here's the question that's going to come up. Well, I sell snow cones. How can I educate people about snow cones? Why don't you tell them where the fucking exotic flavors come from and teach them about it? Why don't you tell them how your special ice machine shaves off this particular ice cube that makes the snow cone absorb the flavor better? I mean, why don't you just show them what's up? Show them how you pour the flavor on and why it's important to do it in a swirl. Okay? I mean, dude, my point is we're going to have people that are going to email in, well, I sell this, and you can't do that with this. Bull fucking shit. You could do with anything. So I got in an argument with my dad about this. My dad's a fucking, at one point in his life, he was a very successful entrepreneur. We got an argument about the electrical business because he's old school. He was in electrical business. And we got an argument about how, their service is blue collar and this and that, and it didn't matter and this and that. And the point is that, when you shut your mind off to opportunities, I could think of 50 different things they could do to improve their business, and he argued with me about everything. And I love my dad. My dad's fucking very smart, and very, very few times, if any, was he ever wrong about anything. But he's wrong about that. All right? Doing customer service to the ultimate extreme possible is your ultimate marketing. It's your ultimate way to build word of mouth and build your company and grow your customer base based off of the idea of how fast word of mouth is spread across the globe now. So, when you give up the tire example we just used, when you give up a $5 tire patch, which is probably honestly $1, all right, to get the business back over and over and over again, do you think when I drive off of that lot that I'm ever fucking going anywhere else to get a fucking tire in my life ever again? There is no way. There's no way. But the reason companies don't do that kind of stuff is because they are so focused on today. They're so focused on every single penny that comes out, when if you would just take time to think about what it's going to be a year from now or 2 years from now and make that investment in your service and make that investment in providing ultimate customer experiences, think of how much business that the customer is going to send that tire store for the cost of $1 or $2. It's unbelievable, and companies cannot grasp the concept.
So what would you say to these companies, and I'm thinking in this case of cable companies, who say, just be available anytime between 6 a.m. and 2 p.m.?
Well, here's the problem with that.
Is that going to evolve?
No. Here's what's going to happen. They're doing good now. The reason they're able to do good now is because they're insulated from their competition. They have the infrastructure built, and no other company, a.k.a. Google, has come in and put their shit down yet. And when that happens, a company who's up with their customer service aspects, understand the value of this thing.
They're going to give you a 30-minute window.
Dude, when they have to compete it's going to be a totally different game. Okay, the only companies that could get away with that shit are companies that don't have to compete, and cable's one of them. You know, so like that's a good example. You see Dish, DirecTV, and cable all fighting over the same thing. One of those companies, if they got their shit together on customer service, could fucking dominate on customer service alone. Dude, if you had a problem with your Dish and you knew they were going to be there at 1 p.m. and you had people telling you how awesome the customer service was at Dish, and let's say they even brought you like, I don't know, some sort of gift or some sort of value added, deal. I mean, people would talk about it and it would spread. It'd be like, dude, go with Dish.
You brought up an interesting, you said if somebody's selling snow cones, how do I educate on snow cones? Be passionate about your product.
Yeah.
I think you have to be passionate. You have to educate your people
and
on
about
what
the
they're
process.
selling.
Like you always say, attack the process.
Yes, the process.
Be passionate about the process.
I'll tell you, and here's a great story. This is actually customer service, understanding your service and branding, Vaughn. So,
Are you guys trying to tell me that my story added no value?
So
to the
I
show?
am holding a package of Moab beef jerky. This is
Yes.
the best beef jerky I've literally ever tasted in my life.
It's good.
I just got introduced to Matt Edwards, the owner of Moab Beef Jerky. So this is the mother of all beef jerky. And when I started asking him about his beef jerky, the passion just started coming out of this guy. This is where we buy the meat. This is why we use these facilities in the Dakotas where we're going to produce the meat. We use this meat. We slice the meat against the grain to make sure that the meat is more moist. That's why you taste it moist. He said, we remove the nitrates. We reduce the sugars. We want this to be the healthiest, best.
All right, let me
tasting
stop
beef.
you. Let me stop you. So now, he's educating you, okay? So education.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you something. Does that not make you think that beef jerky may or may not be, I don't know, but what's your perception, better or worse than other beef jerkies?
Unbelievable.
There you go.
And and here we are. We've sat here in studio and we've tasted this. I mean, this is moist, unbelievable.
It's good.
And I'm sitting here going, well, why? And I know about the product. I want to go buy the product. Heck, I'm talking about the guy's product because I want you to go buy the product. I mean, it's that good. But it was because his passion was there. And
Right.
it's the same thing when I go into your stores. You can't just go and sell a product. You have to be passionate about the product. If you're selling snow cones, be proud of the snow cones. Be proud of who you buy your ice from. Be proud of who you buy your flavors from. Enjoy, embrace,
And brag on that to your
Absolutely.
customer. Brag on the process to your customer and show that passion to your customer about why your product is so much better, because that's part of education. Education does not have to be boring. Education, we think of like Charlie Brown walking up and getting his, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about showing somebody with your fucking heart why this is the ultimate product that you have ever tried in your entire life. Why this is the best product for the solution that you are looking for. Why this beef jerky is going to melt in your mouth and make you feel good when you eat it. And you're going to be proud to eat it because it's healthy and it doesn't have all the chemicals and nitrates and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, when you do this with whatever product it is you're selling or service you're selling, you're creating an advocate of your brand through the process of education, trust, loyalty. All right? Education, trust, loyalty. Education, trust, loyalty. Education, trust, loyalty. Burn that into your fucking brain. Education, trust, loyalty. I can't say it enough. Educate. When you teach and passionately speak about your product and the process to produce that product or service, or how we're going to do X, Y, and Z to your garage door to make it work better so it's quieter and you don't see dust all over your cars and blah, 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 you're giving your customer a reason to brag about your product or service to somebody else. You're making them an advocate. And people miss out on opportunities all the time because all they care about is getting the job done and getting a fucking check. And that is going to cost your business in the long run. It's short-term thinking.
Can I?
You can break now.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Well, that's a good place to break. So, guys, speaking of education, the reason that we say go to the MFCEO.com is honestly it really helps us. It helps us figure out kind of who's listening to us. If you sign up for to get the podcast to your inbox, it just helps us keep better connection with you, which just gets the information out and more people are affected by it. So that's what we want to do. If you want to specifically go to the page on the website that relates to this episode, you can go to www.themfceo.com/P10. And And on that page, you'll find not only the download of the podcast, but you'll also have some show notes and some other links. We're going to definitely link to the you said the Juno Power, as well as any books that we recommend. And then I don't know, I guess I could link to Moab if do they have a website?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you're welcome, Matt. But no, it's a good product. It's a great product. So
by the way, we don't get paid to endorse any of this shit.
No.
This is like real stuff. We're showing you exactly how the process works in real world stuff. That's a product that you love. I love that product too, Moab Beef Jerky. I think it's awesome.
If you haven't already connected with us on social media, do that. I think it's easy enough to find. Just Google Andy Frisella, Ben Newman, and Vaughn Kohler. That's it.
Yeah. So
let me move us forward a little bit, because we've been talking about principles, and I don't want to. If you have some additional principles you want to share, that's fine. But I think
no. I need to be probed here because I got like so many things going.
No,
through my
I
brain.
figure. So what I want to do is go. We've taken a wide angle lens, and let's zoom in a little bit to the specific experiences. Like, I'm talking like shaking hands, eye contact, customer service, and then after you talk about the in-person experience that you kind of try to train your guys to do, I personally would be very interested to know how you think customer experience in person differs from customer experience online. So for those who take orders online or any sort of entrepreneurial endeavor where most of the interaction is on the web or digitally.
Can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
So my first job out of college, I was a paper broker. I sold newsprint, commercial print paper all over the country. And I remember it was one of my first days on the job. Floyd, who is the owner of the company, he walked in and he said, "Let me teach you something." He said, "All of your relationships are going to be built over the telephone." And he said, if you're having a bad day, you're having a good day, people will feel your emotion through the telephone. And I know what we're going to get. We're going to get response. Well, I'm over the phone. How do I build a relationship over the phone? I'm not face to face. It's your mindset. You can be successful no matter no matter what your environment is. You can choose to be successful. If it's over the phone, if you expect that you're going to build great relationships on the phone, you're going to build great relationships on the phone. And if you're going to do it in person, then you have the opportunity to do it in person. But Floyd was so right. And that's where it was just the energy, the emotion. You could always be felt through the telephone. And that's what I learned early on is you get to create your environment and you get to create your mindset.
So it's cliche, Ben, but do you agree with the smile when you dial attitude?
It always makes me smile whenever people say that. But, dialing for dollars and all those things,
right,
sure,
right,
absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Well, so back to, you want to continue with basic principles, or do you want to be more specific?
Man, here's the thing. I feel silly even saying this because the reality of the situation is that kids these days don't know fucking shit about personal interactions. Okay? So when we start with customer service here, because most of our people are between the ages of 18 and 20, are frontline people, which, by the way, if you own a business, are your most important asset. They might be your lowest paid asset, but they are your most important, so don't treat them like shit. Nothing gets on my nerves more than when a boss or a quote-unquote leader or boss or CEO treats their frontline people like they're some sort of help. Dude, those are your people, man. If you don't treat them right, you're messed up. You're not going to make it.
They're like the guys at the bottom of the Viking ship.
Oh, dude, they're rowing. That's right.
Yeah.
And you've got to treat them like gold.
Yeah.
So, we have to start with very basic things. We're talking about how to shake someone's hand properly, look you in the eye. Nice to meet you. What can I do for you? How to create rapport with somebody. How to create a conversation based off common interests. A lot of these things, a lot of these younger generation kids have no clue how to do. I mean, when I was a young guy, I mean, I'm talking like 5, 6 years old. My dad would teach me, shake that person's hand and say, "Nice to meet you." But unfortunately, a lot of the parents these days are not teaching their kids basic shit that they need to know. So we start with really basic stuff like, hey, this is how you shake somebody's hand. You look them in the eye. You say, "Nice to meet you," and that's how you start. But moving from, the basic personal interaction aspect, you have to get into your employees' brains that they are there to solve a problem. You're not there to sell. You're there to solve a problem. Okay? You're there to put the solution of whatever it is they're coming to see you for in their hands with the least amount of effort possible and the most amount of education, the most amount of passion possible. So if that's supplements, and let's say somebody wants to lose weight, you're going to teach them everything they need to know to walk out of that store and lose weight. If it's tires and they need a certain, they need new tires for their car, you're going to teach them why this tire is the best tire with passion. You're going to get excited about tires, like we just talked about a minute ago, and you're going to show them the solution to their problem, and you're going to solve it. So that's priority number one. It's not selling, it's solving problems. Okay, so what's the problem? What is the problem? Identify the problem. Why is this person here? Okay, because like I said in the beginning of the podcast, you could be as nice, as friendly, and as courteous as you want to be, but the reality is if you're not solving the problem, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay, so solve the problem. All right, blend the personal interactions with the problem solving. Then you have something. You have something to work with. All right, in person, there's a lot of things that you can do. Over the phone, there's a lot of things you can do. Like Ben, you just gave that example. I have people that I've worked with for 10 years. I've never even met in person.
Met them.
Not even met them in person. And I consider them friends, and it's awkward too because you're on the phone with them and you're like, "Yeah, man, what's going on?" Blah blah blah. Like he's your best buddy. And then when you see him in person, you're like, "Nice to meet you." You've been talking to him for like 10 years. It's fucking weird. Yeah. But I've had that experience with multiple guys I've worked with, just because we've been able to create a good friendship over the phone, and most of the friendship creation process is not even talking about the product. It's not talking about the solution. It's talking about other shit. I mean, Ephraim's sitting here with us. He sold me 2 Lamborghinis and a Rolls Royce. How much do we talk about cars? We talk about business all the time. We talk about cars 5% of the time. We talk about business 95% of the time. And that's the truth. And so we found common ground. And I know that he's genuinely interested in this, which is why he's here today. But I mean, let's say you weren't, and you just found the common ground. That's a lot of people's problems, is that they can't relate on different levels. Like for me, what I always used to do with customers is I would find common ground in their car, because I'm a car person. So you find what you're interested in, and you talk about it, and you create a relationship with this person. Me and my brother have a saying that we use: "Make a friend, make a sale." And as long as you're solving a problem and you keep that in mind, it's not going to be a problem. It's going to come automatically. So, interpersonal relations, solving the problem, you blend them together, it creates good service, good experience.
This is just restating in a different words, what you're already saying, but I like the concept of you're talking about creating a rapport with somebody, and a connection. And that's what, not to be totally down on millennials or anything, but sometimes they're so distracted by...
Dude, look, man, these kids grow up playing fucking Call of Duty, man.
Yeah.
They sit in their basement for 13 hours a day playing Call of Duty. You can't expect them to have those kind of skills.
But as you've pointed out,
you and Ben and everybody in this room, we're all of the age of, we're all over 30. All of us, we grew up like talking to people and playing outside and like doing shit. The kids now didn't grow up that way. They grew up on, the last 10 years, they grew up on MySpace, Facebook, social media, the internet, email, texting. You can't expect them to know this shit or be as good at it, which is why, by the way, if you're a young person listening and you can perfect these skills, you're at a tremendous advantage over the rest of your age group.
Exactly.
I think the easiest...
Which is why we're going to have a course on this.
Oh, dude, I would trade places with any 19-year-old, any 19-year-old right now on Earth.
Yeah.
Because the opportunity is fucking ridiculous to be successful.
But look for that course in the next year, because that's what we're gonna have a course basically on interpersonal communication in the digital age.
Right.
And knowing how to kill.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, at the end of the day, it comes down to basic stuff. And while we're talking about solving a problem and creating a good interaction and rapport and a relationship with the customer, okay, that's basic customer service. That might be even called customer satisfaction. But customer satisfaction, and the reason the name of that book, Customer Satisfaction is Worthless, is because you're talking about the minimal amount of service to not piss somebody off. That's what customer satisfaction is. So when somebody says, "Oh, we got a 99% customer satisfaction rate," well, so fucking what? That means you didn't piss off 99% of the people and that 1% is pissed at you? That's not good. What's good is we have a 99% loyalty rate, or we have a 99% retention rate. That should be your goal. And the way you do that is by blending, the solving of the problem, the personal interaction, and putting in a third aspect, which is looking for the opportunity to go the extra mile and wow your customer. Okay, like we gave the example a minute ago about patching the tire for free, or something that you could do for them, and it can be a lot of different things. I mean, we just gave out a Go the Extra Mile award, which we have every month in our company, which is for the core value of Go the Extra Mile, to a guy who went and he jump-started somebody's car that had a dead battery. Actually, no, he didn't win. That was one of the runner-up that won. The guy that won, he ordered product for this guy who couldn't find this product anywhere, and then ended up driving it like 70 fucking miles to his house.
It wasn't even from your stores.
Yeah, it was. He didn't. He bought the product from another company.
Yeah.
For this guy, and then drove it 70 miles to his house. Okay, that's a story that your customer can tell about your company. You know, like something that we do, like here in locally in our retail stores. If somebody calls for a competitor's product, like there's products competitors carry, somebody calls and says, "Hey, you know, I want to go to Max Muscle as a competitor here locally," and they say, "Hey, I want this Max Pro 40 protein." Instead of our guy saying, "Hey, well, let's try this instead," blah, blah, blah. You know what they do? They pick up the fucking phone and they call Max Muscle and they say, "Hey, I got this customer down here. He's looking for this. Do you have it?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay, well, can you set it aside?" And usually the phone's like dead silent. You know, they're like, "Holy fuck." You know, but what do you think that customer thinks?
I mean, you talk about loyalty and
You see what I'm
trust in a
saying?
situation like that.
Right. The
See,
customer.
but that's what you're talking about is building a true relationship. It's not just about one sale.
No.
It's not just can you
So we
generate
might-
revenue right now. It's I want to build a relationship, and if that means I'm going to send the protein down the street
Today.
that person's coming back.
That's right.
And they're going to refer.
I solved that person's problem today.
But that's what the most successful salespeople do. So I get to do sales training all over the world. The last 3 years, I've been a sales trainer for the St. Louis Cardinals, for their front office, ticket sales, group sales. It's an amazing experience. What we do when we work with them, any sales team, is helping them understand, get on the same side of the table with the person that you're selling to. Right? The goal is not to get into an argument about whether or not you're going to buy this or to beat each other up over price or to act like there's one option for anything. It's providing options and getting on the same side of the table so you can provide a solution. So when somebody
And
calls
that's why I
it-
don't like the term sales, because it's not even selling. It's finding solutions. It's helping. The term selling is fucking outdated. If you're thinking in terms of selling, you're not focused on the right shit.
So let me share this about
Yeah.
the Cardinals. It's a unique perspective. When people call in, somebody wants to buy tickets, right? The Cardinals will immediately say, "Tell me about your favorite experience at Busch Stadium." They want to understand the emotion of why you want to buy the tickets. Then they want to help them understand the tickets that are available for a game. How easy would it be, right? People don't necessarily know what tickets are available. Here are the most expensive tickets in the house. At Busch Stadium, it's the green seats. All we have is green seats. That person doesn't know. Instead, they're walking through saying, who are you going to come to the game with? You come with your best friend? You come with your kids? Are we going to put you near the kids' corner? Are we going to put you near an all-inclusive area where you don't have to worry about beer and you don't have to worry about food? They're going to go through options so that they're helping with a solution. That's exactly the way that we train the Cardinals team, because we want them to understand when you provide solutions and give somebody the power to choose what they want, they will come back wanting more.
Not only that, think of the stories that are told. I think it's no coincidence that the Cardinals fans are some of the most passionate, raving lunatic fans on the face of the earth, because the experiences that they have when they go to the stadium are like that. You know?
Right.
You don't go to Busch Stadium and have an experience of, oh, that sucked. It's always awesome. It's always over the top. And you know what? They've got some of the most expensive beer on the face of the earth, but no one cares because of how awesome the experience is. You know?
Well, obviously, we could talk about this stuff for a long time and even have several episodes in the future about it.
I think we need to.
We do.
I think, I can get so far into this because if there is an area that I'm a true expert in business, and small business especially, it's customer service and culture building. Mm-hmm. And I can do both, and I'm confident at both, that I'm one of the best in the world at doing that. And there's so much I could go into about the customer service. We've basically scraped 1 millimeter of what can be done, and really all it is why it's important. That's really what we've talked about,
Right.
and how you could start to look at it. So if you guys want to take one thing away from today's podcast, it's this: start looking for opportunities to go that extra mile so that your customers will tell stories about you and do the marketing for you, bring you their friends and family. And you do that by educating, earning their trust, and going over the top in any way that you possibly can for them. And if you can just do that, you will be so far ahead of the game in every single way over your competitors. Because here's the thing, and I get asked this all the time: don't you worry about telling this because your competitors are blah, blah, blah? No, because it's hard. It takes effort to do this. And you could do it for one day, but the reality is it's like a diet. It's like business in general. If you don't make a commitment to thinking this way permanently, it doesn't work. So you have to do it for a long, long, long time and make it who you are and what your business is about and part of your culture. And most companies just aren't willing to do that.
But I think the secret is in the process that is fueled by your passion. It starts with your passion. So as you go and train your people, it's them having the passion to want to go and to follow through on the steps that you're talking about.
Yeah, you have to be living, breathing, psychotic about service for this to catch on with your company. Because most people that work for you, they've had other jobs that were frankly probably bullshit jobs. You know, like I picture like Office Space, the movie. Oh, I'm sitting there and, you know, Lumberg comes in with his TPS reports, you know, and it's like, fuck this guy. That's what most people deal with at their job. You know, most people deal with a culture that sucks. And what you'll find, which is really cool, is most people want to help the customers. And because you know what? It's super fun. When you take a customer, especially one who is like standoffish in the beginning, and you make them a raving lunatic fan of your brand, it's extremely satisfying and fun. So when you teach this to your people and they go out and execute it and they do it over and over again, they're going to have experiences that are tremendously rewarding for them outside of just getting a paycheck. Okay, and then you're onto something, because now what you're onto is you've turned your guys onto a mission. When I say your guys, I mean your team. Okay, it's just how I speak.
That's Midwest.
Yeah, it is. And
we say guys. Guys is
guys and girls,
Midwest,
right? Yeah. So you've turned your team on to a new mission, and the new mission is to create as many duplicate fans, lunatics, crazy people that brag about your brand passionately as you possibly can. Now you've created a new game and a new mission for your guys. And dude, those guys love it because it's fun. And you know what? You're not selling anything. You're providing a solution with passion multiple times over and over and over and over again. And you can't not have electricity in your company when that's your focus. It just snowballs. And all of a sudden, you've got this awesome culture that's based around helping people, providing solutions. And on top of that, you've got thousands of people out there bragging about your company and sending their friends and family and trusted loved ones to you. You can't beat it. And that's why I talk about the do the right thing economy, because it's all based around doing the right thing. You know, it's not traditional business. Business has changed. Social media is changing the way word of mouth travels, the speed at which it travels. You can no longer do the things you used to do. And for you to succeed in business, you have to do the right thing with passion. And it all starts with how ridiculously dedicated and passionate you are with your own employees and your customers.
Guys, in addition to the show notes that we're going to have for this podcast episode, I'll talk to Andy after the session's ended here and just get additional recommendations for books that deal with customer service. I know you're big on Jeffrey Gitomer's book. What's the name of that book again?
Customer Satisfaction is Worthless, Customer Loyalty is Priceless.
Yes. So this is how
that's the best book on customer service you could ever read.
There's another local author, good friend of mine and mentor, Shep Hyken, here in St. Louis, and he's a Hall of Fame speaker, and he's written 6 books. I mean, he's one of the top guys in the world for customer service. Great books. I mean, Cult of the Customer. I mean, all kinds of things. I mean, stuff. It's incredible. These guys because they've poured a lifetime into researching. And then that's the impact, right? I mean, Andy's been impacted by their book. So it's our opportunity to keep learning so that we can keep better, to deliver process and to deliver service.
Nice. So you can find all those show notes and resources, the MFCEO.com/P10. I want to do something a little different to close out, guys, so indulge me on this. Okay, Ben, we're going to start with you, and then we're going to have Andy finish us up. But, Ben, I want you to give a 1 minute. This podcast is going to come out on Tuesday. So people are going to have the rest of the week to basically kill it, all right? So I want you to take one minute or less to give whatever's on your mind to help them kill it this week, and then, Andy, you're going to finish up.
Believe it or not, I'm going less than 1 minute. It's going to
Okay.
be quick. Find what you're passionate about in your business and allow that passion to fuel what people feel that you do business with. And if you get fired up and you get passionate about the things you enjoy, people are going to feel it and they're going to want to do business with you.
Nice. All right, Andy, you're going to...
Listen, if you want to kill it this week, start by changing your thinking today about what it means to service a customer. Servicing a customer is no longer taking their money and providing them with a product. Servicing a customer now entails educating, trusting, building loyalty, providing a solution, becoming friends, going the extra mile, and put all that shit together. And start thinking of your customers not as customers, but as people who are going to go out and advertise for your business. And if you start thinking of your customers today and beating this into your brain, that they are people who will go out and advertise for you, you'll automatically treat them a lot better than you used to.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll
we
see
done?
you next week. Yeah, we're done.
Done? I want to keep going.
You want to keep going?
Yeah.
Well, you got to sign off for us because
All
we're
right.
done.
Listen, guys, we're going to follow this up with other podcasts in detail, step-by-step directions on customer service. I promise you I'll share with you what I know in every detail when it comes regard to the subject, because the companies that are going to be great from this day forward are going to be built around the idea of long-term customer service.
Oh, one other thing, guys. We're going to have the drawing for the reviews. Some of you have sent in your iTunes reviews, and we promised that we were going to have a drawing to give away a prize. We're going to do that the first week of September, so the first podcast in September. So if you haven't done a review and you still want to be eligible for the prize, we're going to come up with a really good prize. Then go ahead and send us an iTunes review, and you will be eligible to win the contest. So some of you have been asking about that. Just wanted to give you an update on that.
And I think that's the show, is it?
That's the show.
All right, guys, listen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for all the reviews that you guys have been putting through. It's been amazing. We're having a lot of fun. I feel like we're doing a good job. If we're not, let us know, and we'll delete your email out of the inbox without reading it. All right? Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time.
Mess around.